Hello, good morning. Here we are back at Mazuma headquarters, ready for our Periscope number 2, and to get ready with some, give you some basic tips and help in getting oriented with your new small business. Last time we talked a little bit about separating business from personal expenses, and which is very important to do, which will help you segregate your business from your personal life, and in the end will make it much easier to report for taxes. So today a lot of people have been asking, and one of the most common questions that comes up as you're beginning is this whole question of when to form an LLC or S corp, and what all that means, and whether you need to do it or not. So I thought I would just give you kind of a quick business law summary and explain how that works. So anybody who starts doing business, if you start selling something, providing a service to somebody, or blogging and getting a commission, just if you just start any income producing activity, you will simultaneously start a business. The government automatically labels you as a sole proprietor and says, okay, you haven't set up a business entity formally with the state or done anything like that, but you are engaged in an income producing activity, and therefore you are a sole proprietor. And so becoming a sole proprietor can just happen, whether you like it or not, as soon as you start making money. And so the question then becomes, okay, I'm a sole proprietor, but do I want to be an LLC or a corporation? And really, when you're just starting your business, if you're really striving to generate some income, then that's not a critical question to worry about right away. I'd say just focus on making that money and generating that income. But once the income is flowing to maybe a consistent basis, then ask yourself, okay, I'm making money. What could go wrong here? What might one of my customers or somebody else out there in the business world find fault and try and accuse me of? Did I provide bad advice? Did I sell them something that blew up in their face? Or, was my blog completely false and somebody relied on the information and they're going to try and come after me? So it's like, what could somebody sue you over in your business? And it's kind of a negative way to be thinking, but unfortunately it's a relevant and somewhat important consideration to make. What could go wrong in my business where somebody could come after me? If you don't really have anything come to mind, if you can't possibly conceive of a way anybody could sue you or blame you for something and try and come after you for compensation for anything, then sole proprietor may be just fine for your business. Forming an LLC is what separates you from your business. So as soon as you have an LLC or a corporation and you start operating under the umbrella or under the name of that LLC that's registered with the state, you then become separate, and no longer can somebody come and try and sue you for your personal and take your personal assets if they got a judgment against you or something. They would only be able to take the assets that the company owns. So classic example, someone comes and sues your company, and judge says, well, you have and finds you at fault, says you have a house, we're going to mortgage your house, take your house or whatever, worst case scenario, your car, any assets you have to pay this judgment. Well, if you have an LLC in place and you've been operating properly separating your business life from your personal life and kind of complying with corporate law, then that person could not come after you personally. They could only come after the assets that the business owns. And therefore you may lose your business, worst case scenario, but at least you don't lose your house and your car, right? Your family is, you, yourself, and your family are protected. And so that's really kind of probably the primary trigger point for deciding whether it's time to form an LLC or not, and whether it's even important in your situation or not does depend on the type of business you have or you're running. A lot of times small bloggers, or creatives, it's just not necessary. If you're a photographer and you're going out and taking pictures of somebody's wedding, and are they going to sue you because they don't like the pictures? Well, they're probably not going to win that. And if someone was really unhappy with the service, you just have to refund them, right? So a lot of time, and it's kind of the same situation with the blogging. If a company engages you to do some blogging for them and they don't like the content or they don't feel like they're getting value for what they're paying you, you're going to refund them, and that's probably about all that it's going to come down to. So LLC limited liability is not often a real critical issue at the get-go of your creative type businesses. Now, after you're making money, that could change. The more money there is at stake, the higher the risk usually is with operating your business. There's more for you to lose. There's also more for somebody else to gain. And so you might, just as the money and profit increases, it just lends itself to thinking, okay, yeah, it's probably time to protect some of this with the LLC. And so if you decide, but granted, all that said, you can go out and form an LLC day one, even though you haven't made a dime. So it's a personal choice based on your risk tolerance and kind of the formality that you want to be operating your business under. And so you can do that. And if you decide to do that, the LLC or the corporation is formed at the state level. So you would be dealing with your state, like Department of Commerce or something of that nature, and you fill out an application, provide them information about your business and about you as the owner, and the state will formally recognize your business as being its own entity, separate from you personally, right? So the state then registers your entity, and now it's like its own living creature. And so that's why you have to sometimes file tax returns for that entity, and so that is done at the state level. So whatever state you're living in, that's what you deal with. And the IRS gives you, or you often, before you can file at the state, you have to go to the IRS and just get an EIN number, which is basically like a social security number for your business. It's the unique identifying tax number to identify your business entity. And so the IRS gives you the EIN. You form the LLC or corporation with the state, and then you are kind of obligated to comply with state business law, which isn't a big deal, but there's just things you want to be aware of as you're operating your business. But it's probably too much for this Periscope right now. So anyway, in summary, as soon as you start making money or engaging in the activity of trying to earn money through a business, through commerce of any kind, whether you're blogging or taking pictures or whatever, you are automatically a sole proprietorship. If you decide, because you feel like there's risk associated with your business, or you want to operate formally as a business under a business name and an LLC or a corporation, then you want to protect your personal assets, you go to the state to file articles of organization and form your LLC. As part of that, you also want to go to the IRS and get an EIN number so then they know kind of how to track the tax activity of your business. So anyway, I hope that little discussion, quick summary of kind of the initial considerations about how to organize your business and what the idea behind an LLC or corporation is, helps you just have a little more peace and direction about where you're at with your business. So thank you. Have a good day.